Good morning, Shawnee, and welcome to the virtual Renegade Morning Show. Today is Friday, April 23rd, and it's day 3. I'm your host, Darren West.
And I'm Emmy Rug.
And we have a great show for you today, so let's jump right in.
All right, it's time for Danny Talks About Movies.
Yes, and I think he's doing something a little different this week. Let's go check it out.
Danny Talks About Movies. So these days, everyone's streaming movies either on their phones or computers or TVs, whatnot, I don't know. So today I'm talking about those streaming services and ranking the ones that I have used. There's a ton of them, obviously, I clearly don't use all of them, but yeah, here we go anyway. These are just all the ones that I've tried. Number 6, Pluto TV. The upside to this one is that Pluto's also free with ads, which is great. It also has an enormous selection of content. What's the big issue then? Well, the layout of the service is very, very bad because there's no search bar, and that's kind of a problem, especially if there's something specific that you want to watch. Number 5, Disney Plus. Disney doesn't have that much content, but at least it has a search bar. They also have a ton of original content, some good, some not so good, that gets pushed out all the time, and it also has all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff, so that's pretty great. Number 4, Peacock. Peacock is a weird service, gotta be honest. On one hand, they have a pretty easy to navigate layout, and they have a lot of content. On the other hand, only a small percentage of the content is free, and while that's great, because there's a lot of really good stuff on here, if you want to watch all of The Office or the Harry Potter movies, then you're gonna have to end up paying for a subscription. Number 3, Netflix. And yeah, I still like Netflix and I still use it. Sometimes since there's not a ton on there is. Netflix is honestly kind of its own bottomless pit. There's a ton of content, it updates all the time, it's easy to navigate, it's Netflix. Number 2, HBO Max. HBO Max is underrated, y'all. They have a ton of great content, they update all the time, and they have movies that are released in theaters free on HBO for a month when they come out, so it's all great and definitely worth checking out. Number 1, Amazon Prime. This one has a ton of stuff, and I haven't even been able to look through everything on here because it's literally endless. There's great free content, some great shows, and a lot of stuff that's free with ads, which is the savior of modern movies, I'm just saying. It gets so many movies out there, and it's basically free, so it's great.
My favorite streaming service is Netflix. What's yours?
My personal favorite streaming service is Disney Plus, but I'm also a big Marvel and Disney fan.
So Darren, I saw you at the Tech Crew workshop the other week.
Yes, I was there asking Mr. Schottler a few questions to show everyone what we do at Tech Crew.
Awesome, let's check it out.
So what we've been doing with our workshop is we're trying to show the next generation of students how the equipment will work during a show without having a show. So we have mics that need to be checked. We have lighting that needs to be shown. How in a situation if a mic pack suddenly went out, or levels were thrown off because someone during their mic check was louder or quieter than their actual stage presence. So we've been trying to push for the knowledge of previous years onto students without having a show. But without that pressure, it's not always put into their heads as much as we've done in previous years. So the workshops are really just trying to put that knowledge into there without the pressure. I think the benefit is that it would give students a leg up, whereas they're coming from middle school and might only know a little bit about equipment, to having used the equipment and been able to troubleshoot things that might not have happened in a show, but that we're showing them how that possibility could happen. So it's not a panic mode when they come into the show and something bad does happen. I've really enjoyed the time that I get to talk with the kids this year. Usually we only get the shows to really interact, and we don't get to spend as much time in this room. And it's been a really fun time of expressing their ideas and talking about how we could improve for shows in the future.
Tech Crew is so fun, and I highly recommend anyone interested to reach out to me or Mr. Schottler to learn more.
Seems like you had a busy week this week, Darren. You were also at the Shawnee girls volleyball match against Lenape.
Yes, I was. On Monday, the varsity team won the first ever NJSIAA South Group Championship as well. Hannah Short put together this montage of highlights from the game.
have to say that the Cherokee game from this year was my absolute favorite memory.
My first favorite memory, I think, is beating Cherokee, like Maddie said. That was amazing. It felt so good. It gave us that confidence.
I've had no other experience that has taught me as much as Shawnee Volleyball has. I'm going to miss Shawnee Volleyball so much. Some of the greatest memory I've ever had happened in these 4 years. I've made some of the best friends, had amazing coaches, and honestly just an unforgettable experience.
A special shout out to Mrs. Fan, Mr. Fields, and Mrs. Gallimore, who have been guiding the team through their whole season.
Finally, let's bring it back to the theater to talk to Miss Keel about the acting and improv workshop.
I've had students preparing scenes from different shows and really focusing on acting in a musical, which is a whole different monster than acting in anything else in a movie, in a drama. And so we focused on how it's not just the dialogue that tells the story. It happens through the dancing, it happens through the songs, and how the actor sort of needs to be a triple threat, which is somebody who can sing, dance, and act all at once. And so a lot of this, involved in, the Broadway history, the dance workshop, the singing workshop, it's all intertwined into one. And the acting workshop is supposed to just sort of cater to all of that. And so we're kind of going to break down all of the different aspects of working with other people on stage and, what that's like in a professional setting, in an amateur setting, and, working towards roles that they might have in the future. I've been directing the musical for about 12 years now, and I've found that the weakest point in our talent pool here at Shawnee, which is a very huge talent pool. You've got kids taking private voice lessons, private instrument lessons, dance classes, the whole shebang, and they come here with some of the most beautiful voices, some of the most stunning singing and dancing that I've ever seen. The acting tends to be the weakest part. And so for me, I kind of thought this was the year, this was the opportunity that I could take to teach them a little bit more about how to become a more centered actor. And as a director, I'm often doing 1,000 other things that the cast is almost the thing I worry about the least. I'm like, oh, okay, that song sounds great. The dance looks great. We'll fix the scene later. And you often don't even get to that point where you can really work. And so my goal for that workshop is to get them to just be better actors and not focus so much on, being the star, but more like taking the part that you have and working it to its best. Because if everyone on stage is giving 150%, the show can't fail. And so that's kind of, my process with this workshop, and hoping that whenever they do a show again, that they're able to bring what they learned to that.
Well, that's all for today. Make sure to tune in every Friday for the Renegade Morning Show. I'm Emmy Rugg.
And I'm Darren West.
And have a great weekend, Shawnee.